Hello, everyone, and welcome to the main event, Marks. I am your host, a former news reporter, a lifelong wrestling fan, collector at heart, and cat enthusiast. I am Troy, and my co-host is barista extraordinaire, figure hunter, and walking wrestling encyclopedia. He is the Devon to my Bubba Ray Dudley, all the way from Dudleyville. It's Greg. What's up, man?
Oh, testify.
Hell yeah. Man, you were the one that picked out today's event, and at first I don't know, it wasn't the one that I was like, yeah, let's go with that one, but it's really good, man. I'll never deny that.
I want to say this, I hope it's not premature, but I think, I'm not going to say it's like top 10 or whatever, but this is one of the better pay-per-views WWE's ever produced, in my opinion.
It was a solid show, mostly because of the second half, or, well, not even second half, I'd say.
I don't know. I thought the whole, I mean, we'll get into it, but I thought the whole thing, with one very glaring exception, was great.
Yeah, I mean...
And hey, even the best shows have that. Okay, WrestleMania 19, one of the best WrestleManias of all time, had that stupid pillow fight. So every show has to have that dumb moment. So I've come to peace with that.
Was there some stuff, because I haven't watched it back in a while, what about WrestleMania 17? Was there like besides the Austin heel turn, was there like a glaring, like, what the F?
Probably that hardcore match.
Even that was fun.
It was fun, though. I mean, but if I had to pick a what the F, but...
Right, yeah. So, well, there's that. But today, everybody, we're switching things up a little bit. I am not going to go over news from the time period. I'm just... because it was kind of hard to track down news from June of 2005. The sources I usually get my news from were kind of tapped out. Plus, I felt this was kind of fun to switch it up, do something a little different. We're going to do a lead-in segment with kind of the storylines coming from, because this show is right between smack dab right in the middle of WrestleMania 21 and SummerSlam of the 2005. So there's a lot that has happened. Kind of, this is still the aftermath of WrestleMania 21, and then it's almost like directly after the show, then they're like, all right, WrestleMania 21 is officially in the rear view. We wrap that up. Let's move on, build to SummerSlam. Do you kind of feel that way?
I do, and I feel like those are both really solid events that at some point we got to tap into, but I know far off, but right. When I was watching the show, sometimes I'll go into the aftermath and all that, and then you fall into that, what's that called, rabbit hole.
Oh, yeah.
And I started reading up on SummerSlam, like, man, this was a great event too. So
yeah,
I think 2005 as a whole is probably not talked about enough, because I think it was an underrated year.
Yeah, it was definitely a sleeper year. WrestleMania 21 for me was just a sleeper show because I watched it. I remember watching it at the time and really thinking about how great it was, and there was a lot of historic stuff. Obviously, I remember John Cena winning his first WWE title, but past that, a lot of stuff kind of felt forgotten to me. But I mean, there's, like I said, this is the aftermath. We get 2 WrestleMania rematches of Batista and Triple H, and then Shawn Michaels and Kurt Angle, which we'll get into all of that. And then John Cena's been moved to Raw instead of SmackDown because he's wrapped it up with JBL. We'll talk about that. But getting into the main feud of the show here, heading into Vengeance, it was Batista and Triple H, with the two battling over the World Heavyweight Championship. After Batista defeated Triple H at WrestleMania 21, they continued to fight over the world title at the next Raw pay-per-view, Backlash, which saw Batista retain the title. Following Backlash, a series of Gold Rush tournament matches to determine the number one contender to face Batista for the world title took place, with Kane, Shawn Michaels, Edge, and Chris Benoit winning the first round of the tournament. In this round, Benoit forced Triple H to submit to the sharpshooter, but then on May 23rd's episode of Raw, Batista faced Edge, who had beat out Michaels and Kane for the title opportunity, pal.
I can't believe you said opportunity. Sorry.
Batista retained the title after he pinned Edge following a Batista bomb. Following that match, Triple H attacked Batista with a sledgehammer and challenged him to a Hell in a Cell match. After making the challenge, Triple H hit a pedigree on Batista on the world title, Batista accepted Triple H's challenge, which led to a contract signing for the scheduled match at Vengeance. This was right after, this was kind of winding down the quote-unquote reign of terror of Triple H from like, what would you say, 02 to 05 probably?
Yeah, and then he would take like a, 2.5 year break from the title, I believe.
Yeah, so this was kind of winding down his time at the top, and this was one of his last times of pulling a title shot out of his butt. You know, because it's like, look, you had an opportunity to go for the title, you lost, but you pulled out a sledgehammer and smacked the champion. So I guess we'll give you a shot. But I mean, this was the finish of the. I don't know. You and I were kind of talking about this. I don't think this trilogy is talked about enough between Batista and Triple H.
I don't think it's talked about enough either, but I also think that Backlash is a forgotten match.
I don't remember it very well.
I mean, it was really good. It was not as good as this. But I don't know. I feel like everyone talks about Batista first winning and then the Hell in a Cell, and the middle gets forgotten.
Right. I mean, not comparing it because I don't think it's as good, but, it's kind of like with Ric Flair and Ricky Steamboat. A lot of people talk about Chi-Town Rumble, their first match, or they talk about Wrestle War 90 or 89, their last match. But a lot of people forget about their Clash of the Champions match. Even though,
yeah, which I can't wait to rewatch back.
Oh yeah, I'm excited for that. I think I've seen their Chi-Town Rumble match. I know I've seen their Wrestle War match. Thinking back about it, I don't think I've seen their Clash of the Champions match. And the funny thing was that was the one on free TV. The other two were on pay-per-view.
Yeah, was this? I think this was the one. This wasn't the one against WrestleMania. No, it was Sting.
Yeah. That was the first Clash of the Champions. The other main feud heading into this event was between John Cena, Chris Jericho, and Christian, with the three battling over the WWE Championship. On the June 6th episode of Raw, John Cena's SmackDown tenure came to an end when he became the first wrestler selected by the Raw brand general manager Eric Bischoff in the draft lottery. Cena was introduced as Raw's newest member on Chris Jericho's highlight reel, but Christian interrupted and called Cena a poser. I'll get back to that in a minute, but on the toy side, they made a figure, Mattel did, of the debuting John Cena on Raw. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I have that figure on my wall. It's literally one of my most prized figures.
Wow. Yeah, I've wanted that for a while. Never did end up buying it, but yeah. And Craig, was that in Cleveland? I can't remember. Or was it just like a Cavs-style jersey he was wearing?
Oh, that I don't remember what the name was. It had like a weird font.
Yeah.
I just saw it too when I was rewatching this back. I didn't catch it, but I don't think it was Cleveland though.
Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking it was for some reason, but any of you guys out there, let me know if you know any sports guys out there or just trivia guys. I do have a figure of John Cena's like SmackDown debut, that one where he's in the trunks. So
oh yeah, I got that too.
Yeah, I had to pick that one up because I was like, why not? But back to this, this built on the existing rivalry as Cena and Christian had an encounter at the Royal Rumble in which Christian claimed that he was a better rapper than Cena. Over the next months, Christian began cutting promos.
I'm not going to argue that.
Christian began cutting promos denouncing Cena as a poser. Cena rebutted Christian's comments by performing a freestyle rap about Christian, which quickly led to the two brawling. The same event, Cena entered a feud with Eric Bischoff by refusing to participate in Bischoff's war against the upcoming ECW One Night Stand show. Full disclosure, that was the show I was actually pulling for that we reviewed today was One Night Stand, but this one was a really good one as well. You and I in the future will definitely have to look into the One Night Stand 1 and 2 shows.
Especially number 1.
Yeah, number 1 was great. Number 2 was also really good, but had some historic stuff to it. The third one was pretty. It pretty bad. And wasn't that the one where Bobby Lashley and Big Show main evented?
Maybe. What year was that? 7?
Yeah, 2007.
No, I think Big Show's gone by then.
I know
definitely wasn't that.
I'm pretty sure it was Bobby Lashley and somebody, because I remember him being on the poster, and I was like, "What the hell is Bobby Lashley?"
Well, that was the first Extreme Rules that wasn't like a ECW show. I mean, yeah. So only the first 2 were. So
yeah.
Actually, to be fair, it probably was going to be one until they saw the catastrophe that happened at December Dismember, and then never mind.
06?
Yeah, it was 06. So I'm like, my guess is it was probably going to be an ECW show, but then like, yeah, no.
This was, the 2007 show. That was John Cena defeating the Great Khali in the main event, which I'm sure was just masterful. Bobby Lashley,
a Briscoe Funk classic.
Oh my gosh! And Bobby Lashley defeated Mr. McMahon in a street fight.
Well, I think you used the classic card too quickly, but
right. I mean, we did get Edge and Batista in a steel cage, but
real quick, off air, didn't I send you randomly a picture of Vince holding the ECW title wearing a do-rag the other day for fun?
Yes, and
I think that was going into this event, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
that was a sheer coincidence, I swear.
A reminder of this crap. Back to the build-up here. On the June 13th episode of Raw, Bischoff booked a WWE title match between Christian and Cena at Vengeance, although Chris Jericho protested the idea of Christian being the contender to face Cena for the title. Later that night, Cena and Jericho were placed in a tag match to face off. Tag match, playa! To face off against Christian and Tyson Tomko. Cena and Jericho won the match after Cena got the pinfall. After the match, though, Jericho turned on Cena. Who would have saw that coming? He attacked Cena. Bischoff then changed the original match between Cena and Christian to a triple threat at Vengeance that also included Jericho.
We're not going to let some American come between our Canadian connection.
Good Lord. The third match here that was a big one was on the undercard between Kurt Angle and Shawn Michaels. At the start of the year, Angle and Michaels both participated in the Royal Rumble match at the pay-per-view. During the match, Michaels eliminated Angle. In retaliation, Angle returned to the match and eliminated Michaels and then attacked him outside of the ring. The two engaged in a feud, which led to an inter-promotional match at WrestleMania 21, as Angle was a part of the SmackDown roster and Michaels belonged to the Raw roster. At WrestleMania 21, Angle got the win over Michaels by forcing him to submit to the ankle lock. We'll talk about WrestleMania 21 at some other time and the awesome build-up to this match in particular.
We'll pencil it in for March, April.
Yes, yeah, because Angle and Michaels had an amazing build-up to their match that included a lot of old names from Shawn Michaels' past coming back and included the I'm Just a Sexy Kurt song. It was...
And then that bell had a ring.
Yeah, and just chef's kiss. Good stuff. But on the April 3rd... pal. On the June 13th...
Gotta keep it PG, sorry.
Good Lord. On the June 13th episode of Raw, Angle was revealed as the second draft pick for the Raw brand. That same evening, Michaels challenged Angle to a rematch at Vengeance, which Angle accepted. So that's going to lead to an amazing match. We'll get into all that when we dive into the pay-per-view itself and star ratings, pal, and all that good stuff.
Not in the Tokyo Dome, so 1 star automatically comes off.
Right, yeah. Well, Ramon, friend of the show, Ramon, hey, Ramon, had to, he replied to something on our Twitter feed about that. He was like, well, if it was in the Tokyo Dome, and I just replied with 7 stars.
The very rare 7 stars. By the way, side note, I love how that's like a thing. Like, oh, Dave Meltzer rarely gives out 7 stars. Who gives a damn what he gives out? Oh, man, it makes my blood boil.
It was 5 stars, and then